So this brings us to the very first incident that you'll hear about. The incident with the stuffed animals. Now, they had just set up this nursery because they just moved in, baby on the way. The baby actually at this point, he was a few weeks, I believe. The nursery was set up. Debra's super organized, meticulous. Everything's in its place. Every stuffed animal, little bear in its wicker chair. Everything was where it should be. One particular day, Debra, Tony, and Debra's sister Karen, who was helping out at the time, were over at Tony's parents' house. And meanwhile, Jeannie, who is Tony's sister-in-law, stopped by at their house when they were gone to drop off a high chair that I don't know if she'd borrowed it or was just lending it to them. But she stops off there and she's curious and she decides, I'm just going to take a peek at the nursery and see if it's finished, you know? She goes in the nursery, gets a really strange feeling, and then feels oddly guilty. Something's wrong.
Guilty?
Yeah, for basically going into the house without permission to look at the nursery. But there was something strange about it, that she went to them to tell them she dropped off the high chair and was like, sorry, I just feel like I need to tell you I went in your house. But, you know, of course, it was no big deal to Debra and Tony. They're like, that's fine, you know. Now, when Debra and Tony and Karen get back to the house, they find that in the nursery, all the stuffed animals that, again, had been meticulously placed in their places were all gathered together in the center of the room on the floor. They were organized neatly in a circle with their backs snuggled up against each other facing forward. So a little circle with all the stuffed animals facing out. Really weird, right?
Oh, weird.
So at seeing this, Debra got a really weird chill go down her back. They think, okay, well, let's call Jeannie. Maybe she moved the stuffed animals on the floor. You know, that's the first thing you think, which would be an odd thing for her to do, but they thought, let's just find out if she noticed anything wrong or if the stuffed animals had been moved. So Jeannie says, no, I never moved anything in the nursery, but did admit at this point saying, oh my God, I didn't tell you this because I felt weird about telling you this, but I had a terrible, awful feeling when I was in that house. But she didn't move any of the stuffed animals or anything, so that kind of freaked them out a little bit. They put the animals back, they put the bear back on his little wicker chair, turn off the light, and as soon as they get down the stairs, Debra hears Karen say, the light's back on.
Oh.
Now at this point, they sneak quietly up the stairs like the scene from Scooby-Doo, she refers to. You know, they're kind of creeping up the stairs.
In a line?
Yeah, in a line.
You go first.
They get to the top and they're all freaked out because the bear that she had just meticulously put back on the wicker chair was laying in the middle of the room, face up. Now this goes on. I think at least one more time, maybe twice. I think Debra goes back up by herself. And in the meantime, they're like, you know, kind of freaking out. She goes back up again and finds the bear again on the floor after putting it back. At that point, it's just scary. So eventually they all go to bed.
I heard that they all got in the same room that night.
Was it that night?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was that night where they all
slept in.
That's what you do. You gather together. You get some snacks. You get drinks for the night.
They said they got like cat food. They brought everything into one room. So
into the master bedroom. Everyone curled
up.
In
that house right there.
In that house right there.
Tiny little house.
Yeah.
It looks super small, doesn't it?
It is. It's deceptively, I forget how she referred to it. It looks deceptively small. And when you go in.
It's bigger in the back, maybe.
But when you look at pictures in the house, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because they're like 90s photographs. But to me, it just looks like a haunted house. There's something
like
in
a haunted
there.
House from the front.
There's something in the, I don't have the website up, but just the pictures from in the house.
I'm gonna look it up right now, Jeremy.
There's another thing, guys. This will be in the show notes. The best place to get information about this house and everything that went on, documented very rigorously by Debra, is her official website, thesalliehouse.com. But unfortunately, right now it's down. So we will have a link in the show notes to an archive of the site from archive.org. That's what I used for a lot of the research.
Yeah, it does look really weird.
The inside pictures.
I mean, it already looks like a haunted house. Yeah, like this is what you would do to set the stage if you were making a movie.
Yeah.
Like that red carpet with the white walls.
It just feels...
Even the shapes of the rooms.
Right? Yeah, it was oddly shaped too, some of the space in there.
Oh, that downstairs is
You got like the half
too.
rook on the side of the house.
The kind of like hexagonal shape.
Yeah, very odd home. I wonder when it was built.
Didn't you hear?
Oh, I missed that.
The land was purchased in 1866 and it was built sometime between 1867 and 1871. So yeah, very old. Anyways, so getting back to the house the very next day. So they woke up and, had that previous freaky experience that night, but in the light of day, everything kind of calms down, right?
Yeah. Start to feel a little more secure in your home.
So at this point, who's trying to think of, there must be some rational explanation for this. Him and I think it might be his brother, they had a sense of humor about everything that happened that next morning. So Tony at this time picks up a 35 millimeter camera, just snapping some pictures. And at one point, he points it at a teddy bear on the TV and says, quote,
Sally, if you're here, smile and say cheese.
Right as he said that and clicked the shutter, the bear on the TV spun around.
Holy shit, what the?
At that point, panic immediately sets in. They're all getting ready to leave. We got to get out of here. Tony takes the baby, Taylor, goes to put him in his car seat, which at this point is on the end of the couch. And as he's leaning over doing that, he immediately bolts up and whips his hand around like something bit him on the back. That's what he thought. It was like a bug bite or something. So he tries to brush it off. But then Debra has him lift up his shirt and they discover what will be in the show notes here, the first of the scratches.
First of many.
See that in the show notes, John? 3 long scratches.
Oh, weird.
We've talked about this on the show before. That it comes
It's always
in threes. Like I had attacks. Remember living at Uncle John's house.
I remember that. Always 3 long scratches on the back.
It was like days in a row where I would just wake up with long scratches on my back.
And if you Google that, you'll see in so many hauntings, you'll find people that just have 3 long scratches. What is this thing? Why 3? Why long scratches? And so frequently on the back or on the arm.
I've heard like mockery of the Trinity, something like that.
Well, that's
an idea.
In one of their interviews.
It is a magic number, 3 a.m. There's a lot of...
Yeah. One of their interviews later on, Tony said something about some researchers that he talked to said that because oftentimes the third scratch would be kind of broken or going into the other scratches, and that in his mind or in the researcher's mind, that was supposed to be a mockery of the Trinity. Like it was a corruption of the Trinity. But that's obviously speculation.
Right.
But
The Trinity laughs at them.
yes, it does. They do.
They do.
Do you have a clip you wanted to play here at this point?
Yeah.
Is that the clip you gave me?
This clip and the clips we're going to be playing throughout this episode are from an incredible documentary, from the incredible documentary series television show, Sightings, with
Tim White.
Tim White, who, as we said in the main episode, became a Cleveland news anchor after Sightings. I felt like we won the draft when that happened because I was a huge Sightings fan. I was like, he's our guy.
Yeah, he seems like a genuine dude.
Yeah,
I like him.
I've always liked him a lot.
Okay.
This is a clip of attack caught live on camera, which happened a lot. And again, as we said in the first episode, this was such an exceptional experience that happened in the Heartland ghosts, as they called it, I think, on the Sightings documentary, that Tim White himself actually came out to experience the phenomenon, which is not something he did.
Right, exactly.
Because he couldn't believe, because the crew was, like the sound operators were coming back,
Yeah.
the stories of being touched or cold or seeing scratches appear on people. He's like, I'm going to get to the bottom. I'm going to go myself.
Tim was a skeptic, and you can
Yeah.
see in the documentary that he's acting very skeptical, but he's trying to figure out is there air conditioning coming on and off, what's going on. And
I thought it was sweet that at the very end he tells the family, like off camera, I heard the family report this later, that Tim was basically saying like, you know, because you're obviously genuine, this is a real experience, we're going to do whatever we can to help you guys, you know, or however we can help.
He took him out of the room and said that to him after he was in conversation with Tony, the guy who's being scratched, and he saw the scratches forming on his head while talking to him. And at that point, he's like, there's something going on here. We're going to do whatever we can to help you guys.
So was he a skeptic about everything or just about this house?
He was a skeptic. In this particular case, he was skeptical at first going in.
I mean, did he believe in paranormal at all?
Yeah,
I think he's definitely open to it.
He was curious, but he was one of these where he believed skepticism was the first step into investigating.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the best.
Because when you have a show that big, and especially in the 90s where there isn't an internet, all the crazies and all the people who want fame just come to you.
Right.
So I'm sure they sifted through tons and tons of baloney.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play it.
Let's do it.
And obviously this is 480p because it's VHS days, so it's going to be low res.
Right.
And finally, there was the moment before our sightings cameras when something or someone viciously attacked Jeff.
She's right here with me right now. I'm feeling something really cold shoot around my stomach.
So Tony's lit right now. Identity hidden.
These scratches had appeared just moments before.
What?
Just went right through my midsection.
Bleeding.
Right now he's feeling her inside him, moving through him.
Oh my God,
He lifts his shirt.
look. Oh, look, they're forming. It's forming right there.
That's the cameraman saying it's forming.
She tends to do this to me because I upset her sometimes. And she wants to be noticed, I think, today.
That ain't no she bud.
So that was the skeptic? Or no, that was the guy that they saw that I'm going to come check this out. I'm confused.
That's the guy who lives there, who's in the chair.
Okay.
That's Tony. They called him Jeff because at this point they were hiding their identities.
Yeah.
They call him Jeff and Pamela. but
okay,
it's
so the skeptic saw this video and then he wanted to come check it out, sort of thing?
Tim White, I think, is already there.
Oh.
Who's the host?
Yeah,
Who's
it
skeptical.
was the other things that he had heard and seen through older
Okay,
tapes.
okay.
I mean, this kind of stuff happened all the time there.
Right.
So that was filmed right after that?
Scratch on the arm.
So they started rolling right after that?
Yeah.
They went in to interview him because he would started bleeding out in the hallway.
Oh, that's nuts.
So this happened all the time. There was one point where he said it was like 12 hours. It couldn't have been that long. I forget how long it was, but it was all through the night with I forget his name, the paranormal researcher that was there.
Paranormal researcher, Terry Gaynor.
Just watching him with his shirt off, just staring, waiting for the scratches to happen. He'd just watch him form right on his body. Absolutely, there's no way this could be faked.
Yeah, we've got a new scratch. Yeah, we got fresh blood here. This wasn't here 2 minutes ago.
Could it be psychokinetic? Could he be doing it himself?
That was
the question that
was the
asked.
paranormal investigator, the first paranormal investigator's concept.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.